know what's frustrating about watching a game? No, get this. You're all feeling good. You put like 3 or 4 plays together and you're feeling really good. And then something totally shitty happens and you're going, fuck, can't we just, why do these mistakes always seem to happen right when I start feeling I'm in a groove?
Good morning, Gjallarhorn, and it's not so good. The Vikings have lost another in heartbreaking fashion, almost defeatist type fashion.
Heartbreaking? It was like get your teeth kicked in fashion.
Especially after the Adam Thielen fumble. It's just, it makes you shake your head. Something terrible.
Look at the shirt I even wore. I even wore my miracle shirt today.
Speaking of which,
it's obviously negated by those Michigan dog tags.
Those are my life dog tags. Got Michigan, got some Sharks, got some Vikings.
Oh, well, okay.
Speaking of which, you can see my co-hosts in crime, Drew Bunting and Ted Glover, are here to join me. How are you guys feeling tonight?
Fucking game sucked ass.
Terrible game. Just a major league downer all the way.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's all hyped. How about that Cards win and that Jets win? Yeah. There you go. Well, who was talking about a slump buster last week? Who the fuck was that?
That was you.
Yep. And then you go in high class.
You make mistakes
and you blow it.
You make mistakes against shit teams, you can get away with it, but you can't do it against the good teams. No. Too many mistakes, guys. Way, way too many mistakes. And I've said it before.
Yeah, but we had half the left side of the O-line was out, and
I'm not going to use that. I'm not going injuries. I'm not going to play the injury card at all for this game.
Nope. No,
without mistakes, we probably could have won this game.
The Vikings, they were up 13-7. Looks like they're going to go in minimum before halftime and get a field goal. And I'm sorry, 13-10 actually going into halftime. A touchdown there completely changed the complexion of the game. Adam Thielen fumbled, and that, for whatever reason, Drew and I were talking about this before you came on camera, Dave, but it seemed like the Vikings' whole mental outlook just changed. And I don't want to say collapsed, but they never recovered from that. It was weird.
Very
weird to see that.
At what point?
When Thielen fumbled right before halftime.
Right. Well, for me, it was Bailey wide left.
Really?
Yeah, because his whole motion looked jacked up.
I think Viking coaching staff, players, and fan base are used to missing an extra point. I didn't think twice about that. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, me either.
No, let me say real quick, the Thielen fumble, I agree with Ted. It seems like the fire got doused in our hearts at that point. All the players were down. The body language was down. Everything was down. But I will say this. I'm going to look at Adam Thielen's fumble just like I looked at Chris Carter drop on a pass. Just like I looked at Alan Page missing a sack. I didn't say shit, and I'm not saying shit because some guys get a break with me. And without that guy this season, I'm not going to give a shit about that fumble. So
no, I mean,
but they didn't throw back to him for a whole quarter.
I don't know what's up with that. I'm just saying, I mean, the fumble was it was a big deal. It was a huge part of the game, and I agree with everything Ted said, but I'm not going to be down on that guy for.
Oh, no, I'm down on the particular play, but not on the player. No,
I want to get this out front real quick because it's kind of a sticking point now that, probably wouldn't remember it tomorrow. Let me get your guys' opinion, each of you, on that fourth down, beginning of the third quarter, not only going for it, but the play call, the whole scenario. How did you feel about that?
Loved it. I mean, I think you convert that, the Vikings get momentum. maybe go in and score. I thought it was a good call with the way the game was going at the time. It's a big risk reward strategy, because if it doesn't pay off, now you give the Saints a short field, and the Vikings defense, to their credit, kind of bowed up and held them to a field goal. So it wasn't, they still weren't out of it even when the Saints kicked that field goal. But I'd have to, look at a replay of that. I don't know if he went to Treadwell unless Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen were covered, or Kyle Rudolph. I'm just like, you talk about guys that you don't want to get down on. One guy I think I might be permanently down on after tonight is Laquan Treadwell.
Oh, fuck him. I've given up.
And he was about,
you know what?
I think I marked down that he was 50% on his case.
You know what? He's used up all his chances, Ted. Fuck it. I'm done.
I mean, it was a tough throw, but he had both his hands on it. He should have caught it. And if he catches that ball, it's a first down. And I think maybe it puts a little spark in the Vikings and might change kind of change the outcome of the game. Not saying it was the reason the Vikings lost.
What about that? I mean, I disagree with you. I think we should have punted, but I understand what your take is.
Well, you asked me.
What about the call?
Hold on. I thought the call to go for it was gutsy and was the correct call. Okay. What I thought the wrong call was DeFilippo calling that pass. What you need to do is you need to call an option on that, where it's a run-pass option, right? And whichever's open, you hand off. Murray had been kicking ass all fucking night long. That was 1 yard. He averaged over like 5.5 yards per carry. All you have to do is get one freaking yard.
I agree. I like the play call.
Right? And if there's a receiver open, you throw it, right? If not, you hand it off to Murray.
Run that fucker in the gut. Run it in the gut.
Great pass play.
You said
wrong call.
Yeah, you said during the week, Drew, that the Vikings might be able to get some yards between the tackles, and they did.
A lot more holes than I thought we did, and if we didn't have a couple of penalties, we got even more called back. Murray almost could have had 100 yards.
Yeah, he had a good night.
Elfline was doing great until his holding.
Yeah, well, and then he got blown up on that one sack on third down. It was a big play.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we discussed this, there's 3 or 4 real turning points. I mean, the Thielen fumble, that going for it on fourth down, which didn't really hurt us because they got a field goal, but giving them a short field. I mean, Darren Campbell was saying, "What the fuck are we doing?" It's still early in the third, but there was just some pivotal plays that really seemed to take our heart out of it, man.
Pick six was brutal.
Yeah. Now,
Jesus.
When we got pressure on Brees, it was effective, but we rarely, all night long, tried to get pressure on Brees. There was none of the blitzing that we saw last week, right? Now, it may have been that, hey, Rhodes is out, Barr's out, so I'm not going to do all my fancy pressures or fancy blitzes.
Right.
But that's exactly what we needed, especially when we were down and we needed, the high risk, high reward stuff.
How come at the end of the first quarter didn't Zimmer gather that defense together and say, "I don't give a fuck who beats us. It's not going to be Kamara, but it's not going to be Kamara." Why the fuck did he keep hurting us the whole? It never changed. We never adjusted to say.
No.
Sometimes, like Belichick. He always says, he'll even say pregame, "I don't care how we're going to lose, but such and such or so-and-so isn't going to beat us. That guy's not going to beat us." That guy killed us all night.
All night. Yeah, all night long.
Unreal. Make somebody else beat you. Drew
Brees had a ridiculously low number of passing yards, like 117 or 118.
Yeah, 118 yards and 1 touchdown. You'd think we win the game.
Yeah. Remarkable statistic.
Fuck.
Yeah, another remarkable stat. Both Thielen and Diggsy had over 100 yards, and you would think with that, we win the game.
Yeah, if you'd have told me before this game that Drew Brees only would have had like 115 yards passing or whatever it was, and both Thielen and Diggs would go over 100 yards and they had a touchdown receiving each, you'd have thought, Oh, right. and Murray averaged what 4.5 yards a carry. I haven't seen the stat line, but he ran the ball very well. Oh, Vikings must have won by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you look at the box score without the score. Fuck. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Totally misleading. I don't know what the hell the problem is. Team's gonna make me want to drink though. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, trust me, I already am.
I know you drink. You're drunk at 10 in the morning, Stefano. Fuck.
I was getting tired of waiting though.
Now, rough day.
Do you think?
What a shit game.
They said on that in the fourth quarter when Hunter got that sack, and then they pulled it back and said, no, it's not a sack. It was a run play. Oh, wait a minute. He tackled the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. That's a fucking sack.
I don't care.
What's your point?
I do, because that should have been his 8th game in a row, which would have set the Viking record.
Don't care. I would rather have Hunter not gotten a sack and Thielen not gotten 100 yards and the Vikings win.
Yeah, there you go. I
agree.
Moral victories are loser victories.
Yeah, moral victories. You become a Niner fan if you want moral fucking victories.
Okay. Stat lines. Cousins was 31 for 41, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
How many yards?
359.
And might I say, that was an awfully large interception, Bill. Yes, it was, Drew. Yes, it was. Big pick 6.
Murray was 13 carries for 56 for a 4.3 average.
He's great, man. He did great.
And he had a 5.5 or 5.6 at halftime. And then, right?
Let me ask you guys this.
Okay.
When Latavius Murray was running the ball, and it's not DeMarco Murray, Chris Collinsworth, that made me chuckle. Did you hear him say that?
Yes.
He's got 3 carries for 24 yards or whatever it is. I don't understand why the Vikings went away from running the ball with Latavius Murray, because he was getting yards in chunks between the tackles. And then they sort of went away from that, and then they tried to run Mike Boone a couple times. They ran Rock Thomas once or twice, and those guys got nothing. It's like John DeFilippo, the offensive gets too cute by a half sometimes, and sure. It's aggravating. It's just aggravating.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that one. I mean, DeFilippo a lot of times. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to pull out there, but
yeah,
sometimes you just stick with what kind of, you get. I think you do play calls. It seems like everything's scripted at the beginning of a game, and then you kind of go with the feel of the game. But he seems to go way off on a tangent sometimes when things are going well. You're going, "What are you doing? Don't do that."
Exactly.
He's really good with the first 15 or 20 scripted plays. I mean, the Vikings offense looks pretty good generally, but once it gets down to that, when you're talking about Drew with the flow of the game and the adjustments and all that, it's like he doesn't know what to do.
Right. There's to prove your point, there's a little nuance, and this is a perfect way to prove your point. There's little nuances when you grab the momentum. When you get momentum, you got to take advantage of it like Brees does. When he gets momentum on a pickoff or something, he goes for it. We had the Harrison pick, the Hitman pick, right?
Yeah.
One of the first 2 plays that we ran after the Hitman pick, Boone up the middle twice in a row. And I'm thinking, you got the momentum, the crowd's into it. You picked off Brees. First time he's been picked off in a year, whatever. We're all fired up, and then he runs a running play, which isn't so bad. And then you follow it up with the same running play. It's like you killed the momentum as fast as you got it.
Yeah. Go deep. Go for the jugular.
That was it. When we get the ball back in late in the fourth quarter and we're down by 10, right? And we've got a minute and some odd seconds left, and you run the ball or throw it over the middle to fucking Murray, right?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're down by 10. You need to score quick.
Oh, that drive that led up to it when they were inside the 5 and they're huddling, and I'm going.
Yeah, that whole clock management, the whole game just.
All you got to do is call 2 plays in the huddle. If your quarterback sneak it and it doesn't work, you go back to the line and call the other play. I mean, that's fucking simple. That's simple football. Come on. It's not even something you have to think about. But our wide receivers bail us out on a lot of drives too. We had a lot of drives I remember talking to Ruby after this happened. We had a lot of drives where we had to convert like a 3rd and 12. And Aldrick Robinson had a good square out. Diggs had a bunch of them. Thielen had some. Rudy had a couple. They're all 3rd down conversions. I don't know if the numbers were on 3rd down, but it seemed like we had to get those to stay in the drive. And it's like, I was telling Ruby, can't we get a 1st down on 1st or 2nd down? What is it?
Yeah.
You know, like the
Aldrick Robinson is turning into the Jarius Wright of this season.
He's having a good year. He's like the Chris Carter of the Eagles combined with Jerome Simpson. He either catches touchdowns or he draws a PI.
You know what?
Hey,
he catches the ball. That fucking Treadwell.
Yeah, for sure.
Treadwell. Mike. Ooh, it's hot.
I'm done. I'm done with Treadwell. I'm done with
him too. I'm sick of people saying, Drew, you got to let him develop. You got to give him time to develop.
First round pick.
Fuck that.
First round pick should have developed by now.
That 3 years ago? I could have developed into it. We could have had Charlie Daniels running fucking square outs 3 years ago. By now,
you guys are fired up tonight.
Yeah, with Dave Stefano could run square out. You know what, David? Come to think of it, you ever think about getting one of those hair pieces? Like a curly, like a Jerry curl hair piece?
Sure.
You'd look pretty good in one of those. You know what? You would. You'd have all the ladies wanting to hook up with you.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, sure.
You're not jumping on the D train to Bone Town with Stefano.
If by hookup you mean get a restraining order, I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Oh God, these games are so frustrating. Why do we have to make so many mistakes? Why? What mistake? Mistake.
Big 3-game stretch coming up now too. 3 straight division games.
Oh yes, and that will decide pretty much where we're at.
Yeah, I think so.
We got the Lions and a bye, then a team from Wisconsin, and then who? The Bears or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
At Chicago.
Tough stretch, but this is a game you got to have. You got to have your home games. You got to have this. So if we cut down on the mistakes, I think am I just making an excuse that we would have won tonight, or how do you feel about it?
It would have been close. I mean, let's say they scored the touchdown there, so that makes it 20-10 at halftime. Don't throw the pick six.
Right.
You can say what if this, what if that, but mistakes are just killers in the NFL, especially like you said, against a good team. Maybe they could have gotten by with that against, the Jets, but one of the Jets they played. This is the Saints, man, and they took advantage of it. They took every opportunity the Vikings handed them and converted.
Yeah.
I mean, we held Brees to 120 yards.
Amazing.
And it was just, you would normally think, hey, Vikings win.
It seems like, guys, we make our mistakes aren't little. They're big mistakes. And if you have a team in 3rd and 26 and you jump off sides to give them a 3rd and 21, that's not a bonehead mistake. That it doesn't cost you. But when our mistakes are huge. They're just bringing back 30-yard runs, pick six, another penalty to end the drive, a fumble for the half. They're just these huge miscues that are just so costly because we can't seem to rebound from them.
Another thing to me was when the Saints picked up the Thielen fumble, went in and scored a touchdown, the Vikings still had 2 timeouts and 30 seconds left on the clock at the end of the half. And I thought to myself, that's plenty of time to at least go down, throw the ball downfield, see what happens, and maybe you can get in field goal range and at least maybe blunt some of that momentum that the Saints picked up with that turnover and give you kind of a little bit of positive momentum and energy going into the locker room. And the Vikings just ran Boone up the middle and said, we're done. Let's go to the locker room. I didn't understand that at all.
That's a great point. And I didn't get it either, but you can't just have the throw in the towel drives and all. You got to try the whole time. I mean, you got to try. You got to try to make something. I mean, I've seen the Lions get a touchdown on us in 10 seconds, starting from inside their own 10. Yeah. So Yeah, we just you just give up. The give up stuff, I don't really. That's not good for team morale when you're just doing. When the coaches are giving up, what do you expect your players to do?
Yeah, I just thought that sent a really bad signal, and help put the I don't know that I don't want to say defeatist attitude, but the Vikings were just not right after that Thielen fumble. They just weren't.
No, they weren't. They weren't at all, and you can't have that happen. You got to figure out how to bounce back. It's good, you're gonna make mistakes during the game, but you got to try to overcome them and get on with it. But they just. You can tell by body language. That's why when I wrote it on the thread, I said this game's over because something else. You watch enough football, by body language and how things are going. You kind of feel for it. You have a feel for if it's over or not. And it just felt shitty. So too many mistakes, Scott. You can't make You can't make mistakes, especially against good teams. But I imagine we'll hear it at the press conference over again. We made too many mistakes. We need to play better. Blah 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 la 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 la.
I'll review the tape.
It's always.
It is what it is.
Griffin was back. He didn't make any big.
He jumped off sides.
Jumped off sides and had a hands-on face penalty.
Yeah, he had one good tackle that I saw, and that was.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Didn't we kind of shut Michael Thomas down after that first drive or two drives, didn't we? I mean, what did he do the rest of the game? Somebody made some adjustments. I mean, if we're looking for something that can be good out of it, but
because I mean, the Vikings couldn't stop the Saints running game, so they ran the ball down the Vikings' throat all night.
Fucking Ingram, dude. Every time he fucking carried it, he was getting 10 yards, and it was pissing me off.
Yeah,
I agree with Ted. Our whole heart was out of it, and we needed to have a stop drive in the third quarter, and we let him chew like 7 minutes off the clock. And I'm going,
that was, and they got a field goal on that. That was
right.
I think that was the killer. I think
that's when I felt it was kind of over. Right there.
I did too. Yeah, that 8-minute drive that got them a field goal and got them, I don't know, 20 points ahead or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That was brutal. Or 30-13 at that point, I think, after that field goal.
Yep. Well, we're gonna have to play a damn near perfect game. I mean, especially when you got injuries, when you're down some starters, you gotta play even more perfect. So we're just gonna have to go into these games and not have the mistakes hurt us so bad. They're gonna have to find a way to get past them and play better. I mean, I don't know. This is a game you got to win, though. We should have won this game, I think. Well,
we've got 3 losses and 1 tie so far.
The whole day would have been completely fucked if that team from Wisconsin had to beat the Rams. I wouldn't even be here right now. I'd be drinking like I'd be back on the drunk wagon hanging out with Mr. Stefano. Shit. At least they lost.
Yeah,
at least they
lost.
True.
Yeah. Bears won though, so the Bears are in first place.
Lions lost, though. That's good. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they got kind of spanked by Seattle.
Mm-hmm. But I've been hearing all day, Seattle's getting better. I don't know if Seattle's getting better or hopefully Detroit's getting worse. But we'll see. There's only
Where's that game next week?
It's no, it's at home. It's at home and then the bye.
That's even I'd kind of wishing that was on the road because if we lose the next one at home, we're really in piss poor shape.
It's at home, then they got the bye, then they're at Chicago.
This is a must win.
Oh yeah. We're must win virtually the rest of the way out.
What are we, 4-3-1?
4-3-1.
Oh, Jesus, fucking Indiana's better than that.
If we want any chance at the second bye, which we just lost the tiebreaker for that tonight, because right now you got the Rams and you got the Saints ahead of us.
Old Dominion. Old Dominion is 4-3. For Christ's sakes. Come on.
Their next 4 games, they got the Lions at home.
Right.
Then they got a bye. Then they're at Chicago. And then the Packers at home again on Sunday night. And then they're at New England.
Dude.
Okay, I thought the team from Wisconsin was what we played coming out of the bye.
No.
Rogers. Oh, we got a game before that.
At Chicago. At Soldier Field. And the Vikings do so well there the last 20 years.
Fuck. I know.
Well, they have with Zimmer.
Well, the next 4 will be, we always say the next game's a big one, right? Next one's important. This next 4 stretch, the games Ted just mentioned, We're winning the Patriot game. I've already told you that. Don't worry about that game. That's a W. Go ahead. Laugh in my face. Laugh it up. Laugh it up. We're going to win that game. We're going to play well that day, and we're going to go, wow, we look like a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
We're going to win that game. But the next 4, we almost got to go 3-1, mandatory.
I wrote a piece on Daily Norseman that said these next 6 games, starting with the Saints game, we're going to make or break the Viking season.
There you go.
And because those 3 division games, because the Packers only play, I think, 1 division game, and it's against the Vikings. But the Vikings, Lions, and Bears play, I think, 3 divisional games in the next 4 weeks. So and the Lions and Bears play each other twice. So it's really gonna the NFC North is really gonna settle itself out, I think, over the next 4 or 5 games. And we'll have a good idea where the Vikings are.
I might have to fly to the Midwest and sit in and watch some of this shit live with you guys. I might just have to do that.
Come on in.
I might have to do that. I might have to do that.
Well, Midwest would be
wherever
flying
I'm going.
to Ted. I'm East Coast, so.
Well, all right. Well, you're East Coast. You're West Coast. I'm Midwest.
Midwest.
You split the difference.
Halfway meeting point.
Well, we have the live show at Stumptown Brewery that we're doing for the team from Wisconsin game. We're gonna do that. Yeah, we're doing a live setup there. We're in their newsletter. They're pumping us up. They're gonna have a bunch of stuff for the show. We're gonna do a live thing from that. It's a Sunday night game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's gonna be 4 people from the Gjallarhorn group are gonna be there, and we're gonna kind of do a live thing with Man Bear Pig and a couple other guys.
Oh, nice.
And
we also have special plans for the bye.
Yes. So we have that live. We have some stuff coming up, but shit, these games are critical now. This would have been a nice one to give us a little bit of fudging space, a little bit of wiggle room. Is that what they call it? Wiggle room.
Wiggle room.
We have no wiggle left in our womb.
No.
Fuck! Kamara! Cover that fucking Kamara! Damn it! All the screen to Kamara. Screen to Kamara. Cover him!
He was wide open all day.
Fuck!
Anyways, on that note, Drew, what do you have to say?
He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind and we were babe behind and we couldn't make a deal. I say meow meow, Viking cow.
Ted, what do you say?
I say let's forget about this one. Get ready for Detroit and go into the bye 5-3-1. That makes us feel a lot better.
Slap it up.
I
like
concur. And for everybody else, we look forward to seeing you on the web, both at Climbing the Pocket Network, Daily Norseman, and your favorite YouTube channel.
YouTube.
YouTube,
You know what, Dave? We don't want to hear about your fucking moral victories either.
It sounds like you have an IPA speech impediment, dude.
I do, but that's okay. It's the best part of tonight. Trust me.
YouTube. Yeah, go YouTube.
YouTube.
Hit like, hit subscribe, ring the damn bell, and yell, "Skol!" Everybody. See you.
Later, guys.
Oh, bad game.
Oh, terrible.
I hate games like that. That almost felt worse than the Buffalo game, even though the score was closer. Fuck.
It was just God. It was the whole game just sucked.